My own view is why it happens
Tell
is
me.
because from the use of these drugs, especially these adolescent females,
Yeah,
in the hookup culture, they feel
of course.
used sexually, used. The guys don't care about them. They
Exactly.
use them. They don't really care. Before, there was a sense of young men having a sense of mission or purpose. I want to find the right woman. I want to get married. I want to have a family, a home, and children. That sense of mission has been caved in because of all the selfishness, the pornography, the lack of proper teaching in the Catholic Church on marriage.
I'm a soldier for Christ. I'm a soldier for Christ. I'm a soldier for Christ. I'm a soldier for Christ.
Doctor, tell us a little bit about some of those issues regarding the healthy family life.
So, one of the major enemies of marriage is selfishness. So, selfishness turns us in upon ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have this epidemic of young guys, instead of dating, instead of looking at marriage, they're home with their video games, with their pornography, with their marijuana.
Yeah.
They're totally turned in upon themselves. These are the men and women, track it out. These are the ones who can be very vulnerable to suicidal thinking in their 40s.
Yep.
Okay, in their 20s, in their 30s, this seems great. Selfishness is not good. It's really harmful. And Dr. Jean Twenge from Out Your Way shows that it's associated with, and all the media associated with significant mental illness because you turn in on yourself. If you want to be happy, you've got to relate to people. You've got to engage people. Furthermore, as Pope Benedict wrote, selfishness makes the heart grow cold. And we're seeing that all over the place. People just seem preoccupied in their own worlds. They seem indifferent to others and cold. So we have big trouble from excessive use of the social media psychologically.
Well said. You know, Bishop Sheen in his Life is Worth Living series that we have says, first of all, people who are, sometimes people wake up and say, good God, it's morning, or good God, it is morning. And he says, how do you help a person? Go out and help your neighbor. That's how it's going to help you. And so you're saying the same thing. And, I also want to ask you about, narcissism in our culture. Everything advertised in our culture, it's all about me, baby.
Totally me.
Yeah.
Totally me. Most people think marriage is all about me.
I know that.
Most people we need our priest to preach the truth about John Paul's teaching about marriage.
Yes.
Marriage is about we. It's about becoming, one with another person. A sacramental bond is there. Get your spouse to heaven. Get your children to heaven. It's tremendously rewarding and demanding, but it's not about me. It's about we. And so one of the major problems I see, Terry, is parents. Catholic parents don't correct their kids with this.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. They do not correct them when this selfishness is strong. They've got to, and one of the reasons is because they only have 2 kids.
Yeah.
They're almost afraid to correct them because the family's become so small. That's another problem with selfishness. The Catholic family, instead of having 4 or 5 kids, has had 2 children.
Yeah.
And so we have a major harm to the Catholic community because of that.
You nailed it, Doc. You nailed it. Hey, let me move to another topic because I'm moving through this article fast. I realize it. But,
Good.
Loneliness. Give us a little topic. We see so many young people that are lonely, and I'm going, really? How is that, Doc?
Lonely.
Yeah.
So what we just talked about, Terry, is one of the major reasons for that. All this turning in upon themselves is a major reason for loneliness. We need to be with people. We don't need to communicate, especially when you're young.
Yeah.
And I can't believe these teenage girls not being with their friends, not talking on the phone. Oh, no. We don't talk on the phone. We just text each other.
Terrible.
The teachers at school say wrong. The principals say wrong. But this has to be really corrected. You got to spend time with your friends or talking to them on the phone, seeing them, not just using the social media. So this loneliness has become really terrible in our culture. I think it's one of the leading reasons why people feel like giving up. Their parents' marriage hasn't worked. In relationships, everybody's hooking up or cohabiting. There's no sense of loyalty, and especially the female heart, young women, this explosion of suicide, and particularly young women, because they've been repeatedly used by others. Then they feel so lonely, they feel they'll never have a stable, loving relationship.
Doc, lives. You're nailing it, but I also see one more thought that's not in the article. Tell me if I'm up on the right spot. A lot of young people I talk to think that they have to look like the models on TV.
Well, there it is. That's it.
Am I onto something there?
No, you're totally onto something. So body image is ridiculous. Body image, you become a psychologically healthy person, not by having the perfect body, working out every day. You become a psychologically healthy person from a Christian perspective by becoming more Christ-like. The more Christ-like you become, the happier you are because you enjoy giving yourself to people. Life has meaning. If you're all about yourself, Terry, you don't have a sense of mission. You're just totally turn that upon yourself. You think you're your body. You're much more than your body.
And I will add, before I get to this next topic on contraception, I'll just give an experience. I've been married over 30 years. My wife and I read Casti Connubii, which is a document from the Holy Father of the 30s on marriage, and then Bishop Sheen's 3 to get married. And it really helped us realize that God had to be a big part of our marriage. And what you said about serving each other, that's what my wife and I try to do. Now, here's something I've done for over 30 years. Are you ready, folks? You can start doing this, Mr. Johnson or whoever men, do this. Get your wife a cup of coffee every single morning. Now, my wife likes water. So I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and when she gets out of bed, she knows she's got a cup of water for 30-some years sitting there with love and devotion from me. And
that's beautiful.
I know when I come back from Mass in the morning, every single day for over 30 years, I'm going to have she gives me this shake, okay, that has all the vitamins. She kind of wants me to stick around and be healthy, okay? So here's my point. She gives that in love and devotion back to me. And you know what? That's not even, I get a big hug out of that because I say thank you every day for your love and devotion for serving me. And this is something as simple. You go, are you kidding me, Terry? Yeah. Give me a break.
Yeah. This is what's vital to life. The flow of love between a husband and a wife. The flow of love is vital. And people fall into the selfish trap of being a prisoner of pornography, being a prisoner of marijuana. Right. Those things make you turn in upon yourself. We know marijuana, high potency marijuana, is causing an explosion of paranoid illness, mental illness. It's causing people's ability to trust to bottom out.
You're nailing it because it's like 23 times more potent than it was back in the 60s. Yes. Doc, here's something I know from your book. And again, I'm going to have a plug. The plug is Habits for a Healthy Marriage, Handbook for Catholic Couples. You know what? I'm your spiritual fitness trainer. Guess what I'm going to ask you to do, Mom, Dad? Get the book for the family. Read it. I'm going to make a suggestion. Read it with your wife. Have your wife read one chapter, and gentlemen, you read the next chapter. That's how my wife and I sometimes read books. We'll read each other, and it's really a great way to do it. All right, Doc, here's my next topic. Contraceptives. This 2016 study in Denmark. Tell us about it.
So we had a 2016 study in Denmark of 1 million women. Yeah. And what did the results show? That there was a marked association between the use of hormonal contraceptives with subsequent antidepressant use in depression in a psychiatric hospital. Those most at risk were teenagers. Wow. The next year, another study, 500,000. And we found that those who used hormonal contraceptives, that the risk of suicide was markedly increased in the adolescent girls. So there's something about the use. And so the authors, professors of OBGYN, said young people have to be warned. Now that this research is out, it's never been documented like this before. Young people have to be warned about the risks of severe depressive illness from the use of these drugs. My own view is why it happens is because from the use of these drugs, especially these adolescent females, in the hookup culture, they feel used sexually. The guys don't care about them. Exactly. They use them. They don't really care. Before, there was a sense of young men having a sense of mission or purpose. I want to find the right woman. I want to get married. I want to have a family, a home, and children. That sense of mission has been caved in because of all the selfishness, the pornography, the lack of proper teaching in the Catholic Church on marriage.
You nailed it. And I got to tell you, most of my phone calls and on the internet questions on our website deal with marriage, Doc. And one of the things people come to me with the women, they say, I just want to be respected and not feel like I'm being used.
Right,
Are you
exactly.
kidding me? What you're just saying. These are married couples.
So here's what happens when use of contraceptives.
Go ahead.
Huge problems in married life. Yeah. The man, doesn't think he's worked hard. He comes home. He doesn't think he has to pay attention to romantic love, right, nor to the friendship, but he's entitled to sexual intimacy. Exactly. Okay? He doesn't do what you did, be a friend, a loving, cheerful giver to his wife, and the wife comes to resent that. She feels used as a sexual object. That's right. Men need to learn from you, Terry. You got to be cheerfully giving to your wife. So every day, guys, you're listening to this. Think about this. What Terry talked about. Be cheerfully giving to your wife. Absolutely. You've got to be giving. And many men model after fathers who aren't giving. That's the last chapter. Overcoming baggage that you pick up in the past. And what he said last chapter, it's Habits for a Healthy Marriage. Again, you got to go to Ignatius Press to pick that up.
Doc, we got a couple more questions. And what he said last chapter, it's habits for a healthy marriage. Again, you got to go to Ignatius Press.